Hey, I believe that we are live. Feels like every time I do this, the button clicking order is different. So I'll give it a second to make sure that Emily, our little minion in the background, tells us that we're live. Until then, I will entertain you with fancy like rabbits jumping across the screen, bloop, 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 and other things. Who knows? Until we know that we are live, I'll just chit chat. Like, IT Nation's going on this week. That's kind of exciting. Hope y'all are having fun down there. This is September 7th, 2024. This is TechIDManager's live demo. So once a month, in case somebody wants to see it, which a lot of people do, we get on, we do a live demo of TechIDManager, the things it will do, the privilege account management it does for MSPs, give you some overview on it, and kind of tell you what's going on, how things are. All right. So my side says that we are live, but nobody has confirmed that we're live yet. Oh, there we go. We got thumbs up, so we're live. So that was the introduction. This is TechIDManager. It's a live demo for anybody that's interested in what TechIDManager is, what it does, how it works. This is going to be a little brief overview. Probably take 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes if I get sidetracked and talk about more stuff. I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗀, the founder of Ruffian Software, products TechIDManager. We do privilege account management specifically for managed service providers or outside IT companies and VARs. We do this because I worked at an MSP for about 12 years. And in that time, I saw cybersecurity go from something that nobody cared about to something like today that everybody's hyper-focused on. It has drastically changed the landscape of account management, privilege account management, access management, identity management, and we believe we're at the forefront of that, specifically for MSPs. The big issue that I saw that made me quit that job and start this company was the technician access to client systems and networks. We had 25 technicians. We serviced 400 plus clients. There was one admin account that all the technicians would share when accessing the client's networks. This was the admin account. It was the local administrator account on machines, the domain admin account, often referred to as the GA account nowadays on Azure. Just the use of those terms, like what's the admin password? That infers that there is a single account with a single admin right that has a single password. This is not the way it should be. Every cybersecurity framework has all kinds of verbiage that vary about what a privileged account is, how you do account management, what kind of traceability you need, what kind of authentication and protection you need, how you should validate passwords and salt them and hashes and MFA and all this kind of stuff. And all that for MSPs boils down to one specific piece of advice that everybody should agree with. An account should belong to a person, and you should never share those accounts. Everything that somebody logs in to do should be traceable to that person. You should have unique accounts per person. This is the standard in enterprises. This is the standard in the DoD, standard in US government, standard within a company. This is just kind of accepted as good account hygiene. But when MSPs get involved in a company, you all of a sudden have 10, 15, 75 technicians that need access to this one network or this one machine. And not only need access to this one machine, they need access to 400, 500, 10,000, 20,000 different machines, networks, clients. A little bit of math says if you try to make every one of those technicians a unique account, all those places, it's just too much to do and to manage manually. But it is what you should do. CMMC says is what you should do. PCI, HIPAA, NIST, they all say that. They all have a lot of other fancy words around it, but it boils down, if you want to meet all their requirements and be traceable and accountable, you have to have a unique account everywhere. And you need some good protection about that. Another thing that has happened in the industry, the MSP industry, or the channel as it's often called, people have become concerned about where their data is stored and who has access and who can see it. When it comes to credentials, specifically privileged credentials, admin credentials, GA credentials, things like that, it is very important to be able to say, I own this data, nobody else can see it. That statement and the unique account statements are the two statements that coalesced in my mind in 2019 to say this problem needs to be solved better for MSPs, and that's what we do. We use PKI, or public key infrastructure, and automation on account management, creation, disabling, right setting, password rotation. Automation and PKI, public key infrastructure, combine to give you privileged account management for an MSP that is bar none the best and most secure. Most traceable, most compliant. It is the way that accounts should be managed for your technician access to your clients' domains and networks and Azure tenants, software, and other things like that. That's the whole spiel. Let's get into the details and see some of this actually in work and at practice. So what we have here, this over here is the tech client. This is the piece of software that each technician uses to get their credentials. You can see each line here is one place that TechIDManager makes or maintains an account for me. These accounts have my name on them. Most of them do. Some are shared accounts because there are times that this just has to happen, like for service accounts. There are Azure accounts, there are domain accounts, there are just-in-time accounts that aren't enabled right now, and there are just-in-time accounts that are enabled because I was using it recently. And all of these are sorted into organizational structures so that you can know how and where to find quickly as a technician what you need to find. More than organizational structure for efficient technician use, we've gone further. When you actually go to connect to a client machine, an Azure tenant, something like that, and you get to the spot where you need to log in, and you have a prompt, a login prompt. If we get there. You need to quickly find the account that will get you access to this place. We can see here that this is the 𝗫 domain. I would like to sign into the 𝗫 domain. As a technician, I know that I have an account there, main and maintained by TechIDManager. I need to find it. I open the tech client. I click search. The tech client went out on my computer, looked at all the windows I had open and said, oh, you have Screen Connect open. You're probably trying to connect to the 𝗫 domain because it knows. It is the account I want to use. My account, I can see my username here is martin_black.mit-admin@gsheep.org. That means that the account has my name on it. Anything I do when I use this account is traced to me. So when I get logged in, I just send both, tell where to inject those credentials, and then those credentials are injected for me without me having to do anything else and gets me logged in. If there was MFA at this point, it would come up. I could use the MFA from TechIDManager to get logged in. So what this does, 3 button clicks, and I went from login prompt to logged in, ready to work as a technician and do whatever it is I need to do. Additionally, without any extra effort on my part, I know that this account has a password that rotated sometime in the last 24 hours and is going to rotate again in the next 24 hours. There's no worry about where I use this account if a hash gets seen or lost or captured in transit. It won't be good tomorrow. I also know that this account has my name on it. There is a significant subconscious benefit to using an account with your name on it. You know that everything that's done by you is seen and traced. If the client looks at it, if an audit on the client side looks at it, if someone from the other person from the MSP logs in and looks at it, if you leave this screen unlocked and some other person comes in, they know who did it. There is no hiding behind anonymity, which is part of what all the security frameworks say. Have accountability, traceability, know who did what, no ambiguity in looking at the logs. So that's what TechIDManager provides. We can see here, NAD, these are the accounts made by TechIDManager. They have specific names on them. They have technician account for support from Martin IT or MIT. It is real obvious. The account, we made this account automatically. You didn't have to manually make this. We rotate the password automatically. We do all kinds of account management on here automatically, including making sure that account is available when it needs to be available. If it's a just-in-time account, so that's the managed account. If it's a just-in-time account, we enable it. When the technician says they want access to that account, we enable it, set the password, enable, provision rights to that account specific to them, enable it, encrypt all the information and pass it back so that just the technician that should see it can see it. In this way, we can actually make the guarantee that these accounts are only used by the person who should be using them. It's not like you're putting the password in an Excel spreadsheet and expecting just that person to look at it. We're actually making that guarantee with the public key infrastructure that we have in place. So back to what I was talking about with the just-in-time accounts, this account will be enabled. All the rights will be provisioned to this account. A password will be set, encrypted and sent back so that just I can use it. That account will stay enabled for some period of time. By default, that's 2 hours. You can set that longer, shorter. You can re-enable that account. If the longer running task, you can re-up it partway through, whatever. When that time frame expires, that account is disabled. All the rights are removed from that account, and a password is set on that account that is never told to anybody. So any hashes that were there, they're no longer valid. Anything that was logged in and not valid. But very important here, that account, my account at 𝗂𝗏𝗺.net, still exists, even though it's disabled, no rights, and a password nobody knows. So the next time I, as a technician, want to use it, that same account is re-enabled, rights re-provisioned to it, a new password set on it, encrypted and sent back, so that you get continuity of traceability and logability between accesses to that account. This is something that's very subtle but very important because the cybersecurity frameworks say you have to do this. It is part of that accountability and traceability that is needed when technicians or anybody accesses any sort of network, specifically privileged accounts doing that kind of access. So we've looked at a domain account that's always on, a domain account that's just in time. We have shareable local administrator accounts, shareable domain accounts we can make. We can make those just in time. We have Azure accounts. The point is there's a plethora of domain, local, Azure, and other types of access that TechIDManager can create and maintain and rotate passwords on. We can also save MFA information for all of those accounts. Lots of options. We also have a personal password vault and a shareable password vault to be the one place for your MSP technician that he goes to find and get all the credentials he needs with all that ease of use and access. So you can quickly inject, you can find all of that stuff, including TOTP tokens. We can store those, generate the codes, and send them and direct them and inject them directly to make things easy to access. That is a high-level, quick overview of TechIDManager and what we can provide for MSPs when it comes to privileged account management for technician access to client networks and domains. We do this for a variety of places. We would love to talk to you more. So check out ruffiansoftware.com or techidmanager.com in the upper right corner here. Request a demo if you have more questions and want to see anything specific about the product or how it can help you. We would love to talk to you. I would like you all to have a great day, and we'll talk to you all later.